right. All right, let me get started. All right, welcome back to the One Control to Experience radio show live here. Now we're on Zoom and also the Vine 1021. Our next guest is a good friend of mine that I know for years. She's an anointed singer, songstress, a problem solver, a leader for our community. She is also does real estate. So I want you to welcome Miss Tia Shanae. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me, Levine.
Yes, it's long overdue. You are doing excellent things in the community. Now you are gotten bigger and better in terms of your performances. Now you are getting to the point you're doing Villanova games, Sisters games, performing in Atlantic City, you know, so we'll get to that, you know, in terms of how you got to that point and things like that. So I want to ask you, how was your week?
My week was extremely busy, but very productive. I cannot complain. Honestly, I can't complain. I'm extremely blessed.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's get right to it. So we're gonna get into more about who you are, but who is Tia Shanae?
Tia Shanae is a daughter. She's a friend. She's a sister. She is a leader. Way. She's an entrepreneur. She's a woman of God.
Amen.
She is a business owner, and she's just a young woman from Philly out here just trying to do her thing.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's excellent. So, who was Tia growing up in Philly? What was your life growing up?
So, I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I have never lived anywhere else, which is mind blowing to me. I need to explore that a little bit more. But I've never lived anywhere else. But I was born and raised in the West Oak Lane section of Philadelphia. Been here all my life. I went to schools in this area. I don't know if everybody's familiar with A.B. Day. I went to Ada Lewis Middle School. I then moved on to Martin Luther King High School, where I graduated. And then I moved on to Lincoln University, which is a historically Black college. And I graduated from Lincoln in 2005. I guess I'm telling my age, but it's okay. I'm still young. But I graduated Lincoln University in 2005, and I started singing at the age of maybe 6. I started singing at the age of 6. My mom had me in the gospel choir at church. When I got to college, I was very active in my college choir. We actually toured while we were in school, and singing just was like my thing. That's just who I was for a very long time. When I came out of Lincoln, when I graduated, I wanted to sing background. I just wanted to be a background artist. I said, okay, I'm just going to have a seat in the background, sing for local artists, and any artists that come into Philly, that's what I'm going to do. And I met my mentor, or my music mentor back then, Renee Robinson Way, and she was like, you're not a background singer. You need to be in the forefront. So she pretty much took me under her wing, and she has been nurturing me since then, and still currently as well, and just teaching me about, vocal ability, vocal technique, and just teaching me everything I needed to know about the voice. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I've been up to and what I've been doing, but that's who I am. And I've been singing ever since. I have not stopped.
That's a lot. I don't know the background. That's me. Yeah, so basically, it's a couple things I noticed that you said. For one, you say you went to MLK High School. Yeah. So it was coincidence that the school was on news yesterday because they made a big thing where all their core classes this year is going to be taught by Black men. So all the English and science. So they was on the news yesterday. I thought MLK was on the forefront, and also you say Lincoln University, HBCU. Did you know someone named Greg Corbin?
Yes, I know Greg. Greg was I think Greg was about 2 classes ahead of me, if I'm not mistaken. But he was about 2 classes ahead of me. So he was there when I came as a freshman, and he's always done a lot of community work.
Yes, he has.
And he's always done a lot of building, even on campus. Like, he's done a lot of work. But I think he was leaving when I was coming in. But I did get a chance to meet him and connect with him. Yes.
Yeah, that's the first one that always come up is his name, because he went there. I remember he used to come to my school. I went to Westchester. We used to have like open mic BSU expressions, like open mic singing poetry, and he would come there every night from Lincoln. So that was first time I think Greg Corbin, because he went there. He had the braids at the time, the long, So
but Greg is a huge force in the community, and he's very involved with HBCUs as well.
Yes. And so my question, say you started singing at 6 years old.
Yeah.
And you kept going. So that was your gift to sing?
One more time, Levon. I'm sorry that it cut out a little bit.
So you say you started singing at 6 years old for your church, for your mom. So you knew then that singing was your gift?
No, I didn't understand the gift until I became an adult. Even in my college years, I noticed the response that I was getting from people when I sang, but I still didn't understand the gift until I became, an adult, and until my relationship with God had increased.
Wow.
But no, at an early age, I didn't know. I didn't know it was a gift.
Wow. So, and I know you just said that about you, when you got out of college, you started singing, but you wanted to be the background.
Yeah.
Knowing that you was good already. So why at that time you wanted to be background instead of being the forefront? I know you got a mentor down the line, but why did you pursue starting as a lead vocalist way after you started, and then instead of doing the background? Was it fear, or was it like hesitation, or maybe you wasn't ready yet to do that? Or
so singing was not something that I wanted to do. That was not, I didn't realize that, back then it was just, okay, this is just something to do. I'm getting a good response when I do it, in front of people, but I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't understand it, but my cousin was murdered when he was 16 years old. We were the same age, and singing was my way of communicating with him when he passed away. So at that time, it was just, I'm just going to sing for Donald. His name was Donald Eric McNeil Jr., and he was murdered in broad daylight. And I just wanted to communicate with him. That was my way of staying in touch with Donald. Donald was not an artist. He was not a musician. He was, he liked hip hop and he liked music, but that wasn't his thing. But for some reason, that was just my way of connecting with him. I connected with him. I felt his spirit. I felt his love. I felt like he was always there when I sang. So I didn't stop singing. As I became an adult, and as my relationship with God, became more relevant to me, that's when I started to say, okay, I think there's something here. And then, of course, when you're out in the forefront and you're singing, you have people that are, spirit. God sends people in your life to prophesy to you. He sends people to your life to speak to you and to speak to that gift so that you can stir up that gift.
Right.
So the entire time I'm thinking, I'm just communicating with Donald, but God was stirring up the gift. He was stirring up the gift within me. And then when I so once I graduated college, I'm like, okay, this is not just a singing thing, but this is a God thing. Like, I don't know, because I couldn't have done this on my own. So it had to have come from a higher source,
Yes, I totally agree with you, because like you said, you were singing at the time for your cousin who was tragically murdered, and that was kind of like your outlet, your form of therapy to talk to communicate.
That was the way I was grieving, and that was my grieving process.
Right, and then not at that time you didn't know that was your gift, until God started sending you people to help you cultivate that gift more and more, now to what you are doing today. So, I turned to singing. What was, after you realized that was your gift and that was your calling, what was your first big break in terms of singing, like regularly? You know, as after college and after you found that was your passion, what was that big break for you? Say, look, this is something that God wants me to do. We continue to minister in some way to people, things like that.
My first big break, I would have to say when I recorded with my school choir with Lincoln University. And when I was asked to be a featured soloist on the project, I was like, me? Who, me? Because again, singing was not something that, you know, I saw as a gift. It was just, at that time, it was just, hey, I'm just singing to my cousin. I don't know, you know, where you guys got this from, or I don't know, but that was my big break, honestly. And I was a featured vocalist on the Lincoln University Gospel Choir. I cannot remember the year that the album came out, but it was some years ago. It probably was, I think it was around 2003 or 4, somewhere around there. But that was my big break. To me, that was big. I was at that point, I was actually a recording artist. Like, I went to the studio and I was on this track, and we still have this CD to this day. So it's like, wow, like, you know, so that was just like, to me, that was my big break.
Wow, wonderful. And then it's funny how we first met. I remember I met you at a I think it was a no bullying event.
Yeah.
With so, and at that time I saw you saying it was sitting at was it? I think it might be Kelsey's at Atlantic City.
Oh yeah.
So it all comes together. So so how did you get that I don't know, that deal that you seen at Kelsey's, I think regularly?
A residency, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it was. Yeah, okay.
So when I first it's funny to me because I'm going to get to the question in a second, but it's funny to me how God can turn tragedy into a testimony. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that's why he gave me this platform, so that I could be able to encourage and inspire somebody to say, hey, listen, you know, whatever you're going through, that tragedy, that pain, let's turn that into power, and let's turn that into your story. So, as I decided, I said, okay, I want to come out. I want to sing. I no longer want to be in the background. Let me go in the forefront. I was watching an interview with Pharrell and Oprah, and there was one thing that he said in there. He said, a lot of people think it's money that you need, you know, to succeed in your dreams and to follow your dreams. He said, it's not so much money you need, it's people. He said, you need people to help push you forward. You need the right people in place. So with that being said, I began to form a team. I said, all right, this is the areas that we're going to tackle. If I'm going to become a full-time artist, or if I'm going to become this singer, this recording artist, I got to get some people in place. So I started out doing open mics in Philly. And I said, you know, I need somewhere to sing consistently. And I don't know if you remember Platinum Grill in Chestnut Hill, but that's actually where I started. I was doing, that was my first residency. I was at Platinum Grill for a few years, and consistently I was there every first Sunday, and I would pack the house. I would bring so many people out, and I'm like, God, this is like, I didn't even really ask for this. I just wanted to sing here. I'm thinking it's just going to be like the neighborhood, you know, people that come out, maybe a couple people that sit in. No, I packed the house every single first Sunday. So I was like, okay, I'm onto something here. So I was like, I need to expand, and I need to go out a little bit more. So I called Kelsey's. Nobody answered. I found out who the entertainment manager was at the time. I sent him an email at least probably about 3 or 4 times a week. He didn't respond to me until like months later. It had to have been like maybe 4 to 6 months in. And I'm just emailing. So one day he just responded to my email. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but shout out to Al Thomas at Kelsey's. He was the entertainment manager at the time. He responded to my email. He said, hey, on a Thursday, he said, hey, can you come down here tomorrow to do a set? And I was like, tomorrow? Mind you, at this time, I didn't have a band. I didn't have anything in place. I had just talked to a musician like that week to ask him like, hey, can you help me put together a band? Not knowing that Kelsey was coming down the pipeline. So I was like, yes. I immediately said yes, because I was like, I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to get down there. And Nobody's responding. They finally got back to me. I just got to go. So I just, a friend of mine had put together like a quick band for me. Went down there. I'm thinking like, all right, they just want me to sing like maybe 2 or 3 songs. I could do that because I'm doing that consistently at Platinum Grill. No, it's like, we want 3 45-minute sets. I'm like, that's like a good 30 to 40 songs. So I was kind of prepared, but not really. Because I had about maybe 15 in my arsenal that I knew off the top of my head. The others I just needed lyrics to. So I was like, okay. I went down there, got off work. I was late. I was like, they're never going to call me back. I ended up singing Whitney Houston, I Have Nothing. And they loved it. The crowd went wild. So I talked to him afterwards, the manager, and I was just like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I was getting off work and there was traffic. He was like, you sung that Whitney song? That's all I needed to hear. He's like, that's all I needed to hear. So that was 2015. So here we are now, 2022, and I'm still rocking at my stomping grounds, which is Kelsey. So that's how I ended up with my residency at Kelsey.
Wow, that's how God made it work, because
always
you kept being persistent and keep emailing him, and you could have stopped like, hey, I'm gonna keep going, but your persistence got you in that door with Kelsey's. Absolutely. That night, and then he loved the Whitney song. He didn't care about you being late, and
absolutely.
That's all you got to keep persistent. That knowing that God was with you, he like you just didn't stop till you got you what you wanted, because you want bigger and better platforms, you know. So it's kind of ironic that Kelsey's. Me and my wife went to at the honeymoon to that restaurant. I don't know.
Nice.
So that was a fair food. They get food was so good. So,
it's so good, right? It's so good.
And that was like we read it like these like twice before we left. We read
it like it's that good. You have to.
It was so good. We had to make it 2 nights. We had to get that night. You know, so like it was so good. We had took some home. We realized that was so good. So
yeah.
But you catch Kelsey. So now, but also now you are a real estate agent. How did you get about doing that, and how do you balance the two with the music and doing the real estate thing?
So I'm not a real estate agent. So
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't sell real estate. So I am a real estate investor.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Developer.
Okay.
So that's totally different from an agent. But I got into real estate because I've always had a love for real estate. I bought my first home when I was 23 years old. And ever since I bought my first home, when I first brought it, I didn't have an investor mindset. I just brought it because the price of rent compared to a mortgage, it was like pretty much the same. So I was like, okay, this makes more sense to buy. So ever since I bought my first house, I always wanted to buy another property. I said, I would like to get like a rental property, and I would like to get into this someday. Years went by. I never did anything with my house. I never, made a move on the investment side of it. Just recently, I got into it maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I went to a conference. I was working a 9 to 5, and I'm like, okay, God, I'm ready to leave this 9 to 5, and I need something that will sustain me, while I'm trying to figure this whole entrepreneurship experience out and trying to figure out my niche and what I wanted to do. At that time, my credit was horrible. I wasn't thinking, I didn't have an investor mindset or even a millionaire mindset. I was just like, whatever. I was just winging it through life, living paycheck to paycheck, paying my bills when I felt like it or when I remembered to. So everything was kind of falling behind. I went to a conference. I saw their conference on Facebook. It was called Brown Girls Do Invest. So I kept seeing this ad on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, this is something I think I want to be a part of. I'm a brown girl, I'm a black girl, and I want to invest. So I kept seeing it. I went online, looked at the tickets. Tickets were like $100. Again, I'm living a paycheck to paycheck. So $100 to me was a lot of money. Didn't have the money at the time. My credit cards were maxed out. So it came down to that the week of the conference. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to just go ahead and get the ticket. My credit card, I think I had like $50 left on my credit card because I maxed it out. Took my credit card, paid for the ticket. No, I'm sorry. I let me correct that. I had about $109 on my credit card because the ticket was 102 with tax. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and get this ticket. Paid it for the ticket. I sent it to one of my friends. I said, hey, you want to go to this conference with me? She was like, yeah, sure. She went online and was like, it's sold out. I said, wow, I must have gotten the last ticket. It was only one ticket left. So anyway, long story short, I ended up going to this conference, and that's where I met my mentor. It was meant for me to be in that building. My mentor spoke. She was on the panel, and she spoke. But for some reason, I was so drawn to her spirit. I'm like, it's something that she said that drew me to her. So I said, all right, I'm going to hire her. At this point, I'm like, I need to get my finances together. I'm in my mid-30s at this point, so it's time for me to get it together. So I initially hired her as my financial advisor, not knowing that she was also a real estate investor. Mm. So she said to me, she said, okay, what is your 5-year goals? And then what is your 10-year goal? What do you want to be in 10 years? I'm like, oh, okay, I just want to buy a couple properties. I just want to have some rental properties and, you know, invest in some other properties, maybe commercial. She's like, She's like, okay, I have a program that I'm doing, and it helps young real estate investors like yourself. If you want to come into the program, come into the program. Joined her program, and I'm thinking I'm just coming in as a student to learn, not knowing that this woman owned half a block in Baltimore, Maryland. She was like, do you want to come to Baltimore? I didn't even know. I'm thinking like, okay, she's like, I have to close on a house. I'm thinking she's closing on one house. This woman owned, mind you, we're the same age. She owned half the block in Baltimore. So I was like, I need to figure out a way to invest in these properties. I want to invest. And I didn't want her to feel like, you know, I'm an opportunist or anything like that. I don't force anything. I let things flow. She called me back about 2 weeks later after we visited Baltimore. She was like, you want to invest in this property? I was like, what? Me? Sure. So at that point, I started taking my finances serious, and she helped me get it all the way together. So with that being said, to answer your question, that's how I ended up getting into real estate investing. Just literally going to that conference and just paying for the ticket that I really couldn't afford.
Wow, that's incredible. Again, that's how God works, you know.
That's how God works.
You never know till you go there and feel like, wow, this is a person I need to be in my life to help me at the God ordained things at the right time. You know, like especially he knew where you was at, and he knew how you spoke things out, how you wanted to change your circumstances to where you are right now. So. Yeah. So where you are now with that? Are you investing in properties now, or in terms of that outright? So now you're an investor, but how's that going? And what stage you are now currently with that?
So fast forward, I started in 2019. So 3 years later, when I first started, my credit was about a 580. My credit score, I was able to get my credit score up to like a 730. I wanted to get over that 700 mark because I was like, all right, so now my next goal is to reach that 800 mark. But I was able to get my credit score up to 730. I currently have 2 investment properties. I have a property here in Philly that I rent out. I was able to leave my 9 to 5. So now I'm doing full-time real estate investing, and I'm investing in some other stuff as well. I'm keeping it on a hush because I'm not ready to release it yet because it's still a baby. But once it's born, I'll be able to explain what that project is. But also I have new music out, so I'm able to focus on my dreams. I'm able to focus on being a full-time artist and then being a full-time real estate investor. I'm able to balance it, just simply taking it a day at a time. Like I'm only one person, and I'm learning how to designate stuff. And once again, you need a team of people to help you. You cannot do this. You can't fulfill your dreams on your own. You can dream it. Yes, you carry the vision, but you need people to help you carry it out. So I have a lot of support on the real estate side, and I have a lot of support on the music side, people that are backing me and people that are helping pushing me forward. So that's where I am, in 3 years, and I'm just getting started. I'm literally just getting my feet wet. So I'm super excited about it.
And like I said, I'm very proud of you of what you're doing. And it was something ordained when I reached out to you a couple months ago to speak to my kids, you know.
Absolutely.
And Wes, I've been trying to get you there because I know you have a story, you know, and you have a testimony, and it's meant for me to have you at that was Bethune that day. Bethune, yes.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience, and now you say you got the song Thoughts.
Yes.
What made you what made you come out with that song, and what was the purpose behind that song?
So Thoughts is literally a declaration of how I want to be loved. It's a declaration for, you know, my next partner in life, the man that God has for me. It's literally setting the tone for how I want to be loved as a woman, as a queen, as a leader, as all of those things. That's how I want to be loved. The song starts out with me expressing like things that have happened in my past and, you know, where I came from. And then the second verse explains, you know, this is the standard. I've already said it. This is the way I want to be loved. Either you're going to love me or you're going to leave me alone. So that's what Thoughts is about. I heard the hook, and this might be so cliche, but I promise you this is how it happened. I heard the hook in the shower. I was singing in the shower. I'm like, okay, if I showed you my heart, would you take it on the run and go? Maybe, I don't know, but it seems so usual. It seems like everybody that comes into my life just takes my heart and just run with it. So I was like, okay. I got out of the shower. I recorded the chorus on a voice memo. I sent it to my producer. He was like, you know, all right, we're going to do something here. So we ended up getting together. Long story short, we wrote it together along with a wonderful young lady by the name of Kristen. She's amazing. She's an amazing writer from Philadelphia. And CJ Branch is pretty much my backbone when it comes to this music thing. He has been holding me down since day one, but that's how Thoughts came about.
Okay, so all right, question. You said Falls was your single. Have you thought about or considered, or maybe have done already, put an album together of all your songs based on that single you had, maybe doing the album and doing the launch and one of your properties, you know? So I was getting
launch with the music and the property.
I gave some ideas. I don't know, maybe something down the line, you know, maybe a launch party or something at your investment property, you know, just to get, you know, so.
I probably wouldn't do a launch at my investment property because I have a tenant there and I don't think she wants us in her house. But I like the idea. So, so that's always the goal. Whenever an artist puts out a single or whenever they put out a music, it's kind of like a teaser. So we put out a single first and then eventually the album is coming. So we're just trying to prep you guys for the bigger picture. So that's the point of us putting out singles. We're just trying to drop some hints here or there. Say, hey, listen, we're going to tease you a little bit and then we're going to get into the bigger thing.
Gotcha.
So it's coming. It's coming.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's next for you?
What's next for me? Right now, I am focused on, and I'm just going to keep it all the way real. I don't want to be a starving artist. And what that means is I don't want to be, you know, that artist that I'm so busy caught up chasing a dream that I'm not focusing on my family legacy, if that makes sense. I'm really big on financial literacy. I'm really big on building wealth for my family. So it's very important for me to build a machine that can work behind me while I'm on stage. It's important to me to build a machine that can work for me while I'm sleeping, meaning I need to be making money in my sleep. And it's not so much money for me, but my mentor once told me, he said, because I used to always say, you know, I don't need a lot of money. You know, I just want to be able to help people. He said, that doesn't make sense. He said, stop saying that. He said, you're rich and you want to be rich. He said, you can't help nobody if you're broke. So it's important to me to become the woman that God has called me to be. It's important to me to build my empire so that I could reach back and help my community, so that I could become a philanthropist, because that is my ultimate goal. So right now, my focus is to build my real estate company to the point where I can literally dump money into my community. I can take my money and say, hey, this person is, you know, I can dump my money into HBCUs because that's where I came from. I can dump my money into surviving victims of gun violence because my cousin was murdered. You know what I'm saying? I can dump my money into church organizations that are giving scholarships to kids that are going to school. So that's my ultimate goal. I just got certified to be able to be a Section 8 landlord through PHA. So that's very big for me because now I can offer my properties to low income families. So I actually have a mission and a purpose of why I'm doing, you know, building my real estate portfolio. It's not so much, you know, of course it's a lucrative industry and it's a lucrative business, but it's so that I can help families, so that I can be able to, you know, be a positive influence in these people's lives. And the goal, yes, we all know PHA is, you know, existing. We all know that. But the goal for me is once I get these families into my properties, now I got you. Now I can say, okay, my program is offering financial literacy courses. My program is offering credit repair. My program is offering therapy and mental health programs for you. So that's what I'm trying to work on now. Also, again, I have something big coming, but I'll announce that on Facebook soon. But with the music, I want to be able to put out music that people can be inspired by. I want to be able to empower people. So my goal is to continue to put this music out because I have something to say. And as long as God continues to give me the platform, I'll continue to share this story, you know, the platforms such as this. I'll continue to share my story about Donald. I'll continue to share my story about how I got started in the music industry. I'll continue to share my story about being broke from being now a full-time real estate investor and a full-time entrepreneur. So I'm grateful for your platform, LaVon, and I'm grateful that you've even invited me to your show because it gives me an opportunity for people to tell my story. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you so much for that. So I'm on that path right now, like talking about, you said about delegating, having a team together. So I'll talk about it in my show about Path to Greatness, how we did the Work Ready program. And that I allowed 3 young women to lead my program, lead the session for Work Ready, and it worked out. And I finally delegated that. And then I had contracts with 2 other people to do workshops for my old employers that we usually get speakers there every summer. Now these speakers got paid this summer. So it was a blessing. So now I'm trying to be more intentional about what I'm trying to do. It's about investing and talk about put my books out there more. I got books out here. And a lot of people don't know my story. I always be in the background. So now I'm trying to share more mental health, financial literacy.
That's right.
This made a proposal for yesterday for Ask School program. So I'm trying to get my foot in the door so our people can be better off, you know what I mean, and more informed about what's going on.
Can I say something real quick? I didn't mean to cut you off, LaVon, but I wanted to give you your flowers while you're here.
Yes.
I see you doing so much in the community. I see you doing so much with the youth. I see you doing so much. And that's, you know what, that's ministry. That's ministry. And I just want to commend you for the work that you're doing. And I know you probably hear this all the time, but I have to say this. Thank you for you. I thank God for you because it's people like you who are the force behind us getting better as a people. It's people like you who help move the culture forward. And it's people like you who have an impact on these young people. I remember when I came to speak at your program at Bethune, and you had pointed out one of the young people there that you had like been, you know, mentoring for a very long time, and to see them grow up. I think the young lady that spoke, she was in your program. She was on the panel with us.
And she was one of the people that led my site this summer.
And I just want to say that, you know, that to me, that is purpose-driven work. That is a purpose-driven life. So I just wanted to thank you and commend you. And I admire the work that you do and just, you know, applaud you because that's not easy. It's not easy to do that type of work. So I give you your flowers while you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I really, truly appreciate that. Like you said, that girl that you talked about, what led my site this summer. So that's how God worked
and
out.
That's what it's about.
Right. And that was something like God told me to do work ready. And I was Lord would do one. I felt like this was the year to do it. And I had no expectations. You asked me, January 22, would I be leaving work ready? I would say no. But God told me that this need happen because it gave you a place to come and get paid instead of like being on that waiting list and not getting in. 8 people got paid this summer because of you opening a door for them, you know. So
opening doors, yes.
So and like you said, I'm gonna get better at financial literacy. I'm trying to learn that more. Mental health is my big thing about healing, about speaking life over yourself, being confident in the midst of your storms, you know what I mean? Knowing that there's still joy at the end of the day, you know, not just turmoil, not just doubt. Because in the day, God doesn't want us to be angry or anything. He wants us to win.
That's right.
That's all we have to do. So, you do a lot. You're a senior, a real estate investor. You are a problem solver. You're a game changer. So, what does Tia do for self-care?
Believe it or not, and contrary to popular belief, because many people think they're like, oh my gosh, she's so busy. LaVon, when I tell you I stay home, like my self-care day is literally staying in the comfort of my home. I don't watch much TV, but I'm constantly reading. I read a lot. I read a lot of books. I try to read a book a month. But I love I have my spa days where I go to the nail salon. I get my nails done. I have my days where I just get my hair done. I just kick back. I live a very simple yet fun life, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I try not to overwork myself. Sometimes when issues arise that come up, listen, I take a step back. I go into isolation. I got my book. I got my coffee. I'm laid up with my feet in the bed. To me, that is my self-care. I turn my phone off sometimes. I put it, I put it away. And that's just what I do. I just like, sometimes I'm a loner, so I like to be by myself. Sometimes I'll just take a quick trip by myself. I have this thing where once a year, I'll get a hotel room somewhere, just a random location. And I'll go stay in that hotel room and I'll just sit there and I create. I just write. I write down ideas. I write down my goals. I write down what's going to happen next. But that's my way of taking care of me, my mental. And that's my way of loving on me and taking care of myself.
Wonderful. You give some ideas about self-care too. Sometimes I do a lot too. And
it's so refreshing.
It is. Sometimes you gave some ideas, some tips, So 2 more questions. What advice would you give to younger Tia Shanae?
The advice that I would give to my younger self, just be present. Just be present. And it's that simple because I've learned, I used to be so anxious. Like, I'm a Virgo, if that makes any sense. I'm not really a big horoscope person, but I'm a Virgo, meaning that I overthink a lot. And I'm trying to figure out what happens next. Where am I going? Where is this going? So if God gives me a vision, I'm like anxious to know what happens next. Can I get this and can I get that? Just be present. Show up as your authentic self and just be present. God is the leader of this ship. God is the leader of my life. God is the leader of every decision that I make. I cannot rely on my own decisions and I cannot rely to my understanding. Just literally do the work, study, watch, learn, do the work, and just be present. Show up as your authentic self and let God lead the way. And it's that simple for me.
Wow, that's truly inspiring. And last question. Hopefully last question. Where people can find you for more information about the music, about your real estate investment, where people can find you for more information regarding that.
So you can find me at tiashanae.com. That's my website. My website will link you to all of my social media links. Instagram, it's I am Tia Shanae. Facebook, it's Miss Tia Music. I have 2 Facebook pages and 2 Instagram pages. I do that because I like to keep my personal life a little separate than my business life. So Facebook is Miss Tia Music. Twitter, it's Miss Tia Music. Instagram, it's I am Tia Shanae. But if you want to find all of my social networks, you can go to my website at tiashanae.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. Like I said, I don't know you know, it's the last week. I actually played your song, Farts on my. So I think I post on my page. So I don't know if you know if they're not. So, but hopefully you find you can tag yourself, comment on there.
I'll go back and look for it
and share. You know, because like I said, I'm in promoting positive music, and you are an example of doing that.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You know, I think your music is different, it's unique, it's positive. So it's local, and people need to hear it more because we gotta support more of people like you who are doing extraordinary things in the community, who are doing work, who are spreading their gift to people that need it. You know, and you're like, and lastly, you say your presence. So, and I appreciate you for doing this. I appreciate you as a person, and thank you for your words. Thank you for showing up for my kids that day. You know, hopefully we can do some more work with that financial literacy piece that you're doing. Also music course. I don't know, teaching music. I don't know, maybe teaching the lyrics. You know, songs. You know, younger people. You know, about music.
That's right.
You know, so. Like I said, Tia, thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you, Levine.
Like I said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy yourself and continue to be great.
Thank you. You do the same. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good one day, everyone. Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.